Hello friends! We need to talk about Stephanie Sue. She is intensely covering the Dee trial, entering the courtroom with her team, taking notes, and working as a reporter. People are worried about her because they feel Dee knows who she is and they want her to be safe. This situation is really strange, and Stephanie recently spoke about it, and we're going to get into the details of what she said and what's going on. If you follow Stephanie Sue, known as the queen of mukbang storytelling and host of the Rotten Mango podcast, you've surely seen how she and her team are deeply involved in one of the biggest and most sensitive stories right now, the Dee case. She covers this case on her podcast and doesn't let anything slip by. Stephanie and her team are physically present in the courtroom, follow events from the media section, compare notes at the end of the day to provide the most accurate summary of the court because video recording is not allowed and everything is done by pen and paper. But here's where the concern arises. Fans have started worrying about her safety. In her recent video, Stephanie said it seemed like Dee looked at her and lip-read the words, "I know you," twice. At 8:50 a.m., the jury members are not in the courtroom. John Combs sits on his chair and turns to the right, looking in our direction. He seems to look
8:50 a.m. Jurors are not in the courtroom. John Combs sits down at his chair and he turns in his chair to the right. This is our eye direction, like we can see him now. He starts staring in what felt like in our general direction or perhaps right behind us, and it's a pretty lengthy stare. And then he starts nodding while mouthing the words dramatically, "I know you." He mouths it twice with what we perceive to be a smirk. Then as he's turning back around to face the front, he's like ever so slightly shaking his head while he's still smirking. But again, I'm not trying to be dramatic. I don't know if he was looking at me. He could have been looking behind me, right? But then right at that moment, the jury comes in, we all stand up, and as there's noise in the courtroom, because we're not allowed to talk when the judge is on the bench, a reporter from a major media network, I mean, she's been doing this for years and years. She's like a professional. She turns to me and she whispers, quote, "You're putting that in your video, right?" Because that was at least 7 seconds. So my researcher and I, we both felt it was weird. We both wrote it down independently in our notes in the courtroom. We talked about it after, and we're like, you know what? We can't be sure. We don't want to be dramatic.
Exactly at us or behind us for several seconds. Then he lip-reads the words, "I know you," twice with a half-hidden smile. Then he moves his head slightly and keeps smiling.
And it happens again on Friday, a week later. So on Friday, there's this moment where there's a sidebar. Sean Combs' attorneys are near the front of the courtroom with the judge, and regardless, the jurors are still sitting on the side. Sean Combs turns around, and then he talks to his mom, and then he's smiling, nodding at her. He's like mouthing, "I love you." And then my neck is tilted still because I'm observing him, and I'm taking notes about him talking to his mom during this sidebar. And as he's making his turn back to the front, it felt like we make awkward eye contact. And I say awkward to the point where I'm like, you know when it's so awkward, you almost like instinctively smile or look down because you're like, oh, I just got caught staring at someone. That was the feeling. It was like, oh, I literally just got caught staring him down. And he starts rubbing his chin with his left hand and mouths what appears to seem like, "I know you. I know you." And this time it seemed more pronounced because as he's rubbing his chin with his left hand, he does like a slight index point. It's not like a point. He's not pointing his finger, but it's kind of like a hand gesture, like, "I know you," like kind of like you.
I don't want to exaggerate. Maybe he wasn't looking at me. Maybe he was behind me. Just then, the jury entered, and we all stood up because talking is forbidden when the judge is present in court. A professional reporter from a big network pointed at me and quietly said, "You're putting this in your video, right? Because this scene lasted at least 7 seconds." My researcher and I both thought this was strange behavior, and we wrote it down. Later, we talked about it and said maybe we're overreacting. But then it happened again. Dee looked at Stephanie again and said, "I know you." And this also repeated the following Friday. That day, while next to the courtroom, John Combs looked at his mother and said, "I love you." Then when he turned forward, it seemed their eyes locked and made unusual eye contact with Stephanie.
It has been a rough few weeks. This is our 4th time moving locations. One of them was completely unrelated to the case, and the rest of the times that we've moved to different places to stay, it's just been getting weird, and we're taking all the necessary precautions to keep the entire team safe. So the past 2 weeks, we have had almost 8 or 9 times completely new faces that will come up to us, tell us that they love our show, Rotten Mango, and then they keep asking us where we're staying. This has been happening like every other day. There are other odd questions that are asked by people that don't necessarily look like they even care about the show in the slightest. So one person in particular asked a series of questions trying to gauge how much, quote, power I have over my audience. Like they kept asking like, "Can you make them do anything?" And I was like, "Do you think I like run a cult? I think half of them don't even like me that much. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean I can't make them do anything, period?" But they kept asking like, "Well, you don't think if you say something, they would listen to you?" And I'm like, I I don't think so. I think they would do their own research. And it did not seem like this person cared at all about this show. There was one instance where we're walking out of the courthouse. We run into someone who's like, hey, I love your show. That's it. And then they like come in for a hug. It was kind of abrupt. I was a little bit taken off guard. I love your show. Pulling me in for a hug. And my researcher snatches my arm, pulls me back and is like, we gotta go. Our car is here. And I thought it was kind of strange. So we get into the car and she's telling me their hand was like elbow deep into your tote bag. It's clear that they're looking for something.
Stephanie felt like he said, I know you, with his lips. This time, his hand movement accompanied it, lightly touching his chin and making a half motion gesture as if to say, I know you. People really became worried for Stephanie, especially because it wasn't just Stephanie who saw these signs. Her team also noted them.
So the past 2 weeks, we have had almost 8 or 9 times completely new faces that will come up to us, tell us that they love our show, Rotten Mango, and then they keep asking us where we're staying, which hotel we're staying at, which part of the city we're staying at. And of course, we give them very non-committal answers because that's a very invasive question to ask. So like, just to give you an idea, like clearly, if someone is a member of the press, or if it's a fellow content creator, or somebody that I see every single day and we have some sort of foundation, and they ask me, where are you staying? It feels like, oh, because we're all trying to get a gauge of all the hotels nearby, which one's a good one, which one has good amenities for after court. But these are random people that are like, hey, by the way, I love your show. Nice to meet you. My name is blank. Where are you staying? It's like instant, just non-stop questions about which hotel we're staying at. And then if we evade the question, it becomes what part of the city, which area, how long does it take you to get here? Do you Uber or do you walk? Who's all staying with you? Is it just you guys? Is it just you and your researcher here? Do you go home during the weekends if you're not from the city? Do you fly back home? Do you take the train? Like, it's just non-stop.
Like, what are some of these questions going to provide for this person?
And another reporter told her, talk about this in your video. People wrote in the comments, seek safety. He wants to scare you. Since you started reporting on this case, I've been worried about your safety. Please stay safe. I don't want to lose my favorite mukbang and storytelling queen. Concerns grew when Stephanie said many people have recently approached her and said they like her videos, but then ask about the hotel where she's staying. In these weeks, they've changed their accommodations 4 times, and this has become really strange.
She is. Remember how I said that Diddy looks like a koala? I don't think that this man liked it. I didn't know, but it doesn't seem like he likes it. I thought this was completely unrelated, but every time some of his kids would come in or like his best friend would come in, they're always snooping. They're always like peeking over the shoulders of the sketch artist, trying to get a vibe of the sketches. And so I was just thinking, this man really cares about his sketches. Well, I'm going through the news this weekend. On Thursday, he tells one of the sketch artists, this is like when the jurors are not in the room, he makes an unusual request. Soften me up a bit. This is a quote. Soften me up a bit. You're making me look like a koala bear. What does that even mean?
Stephanie and her team take all precautions to keep themselves safe. In the past 2 weeks, about 8 or 9 new people have come and told them they like the Rotten Mango show and asked where they stay. These questions became so frequent that some asked strange and unrelated questions, as if they didn't care about the show at all. One person asked questions to figure out how much influence Stephanie has over her audience and whether she can do something with them. Stephanie answered that she doesn't think that's true. Most people do their own research and don't listen to her. Once, when they were leaving the court, a person who liked the show suddenly came up to her and hugged her, but her researcher pulled her hand and said, we have to go. The car is here. Stephanie found this gesture a bit suspicious. Later, they realized that person deeply put his hand inside Stephanie's handbag, as if searching for something. People again said to be careful. Check cars and bags. Keep bags small and without extra pockets. Don't leave your phone unattended. Check the car for trackers. Wear hats around hotels. Definitely have security and be firm. They might have put small tracking devices inside the bag. So Stephanie and her team must be very careful. People believe these questions aren't from real fans, but from strange people who haven't even watched the videos but ask weird questions. Stephanie said in court that Didi looks like a koala, meaning his hair is soft gray-white fur. Later, Didi asked the courtroom artist to draw him less like a koala. This has made people think Didi definitely knows who she is. Didi and his family are very careful about the drawings and seem very sensitive. Stephanie said one day Didi told the artist, make me look softer. You made me look like a koala. People find this scary and advise Stephanie to get personal security and report anything suspicious because everything is on camera and online. Now everyone is worried about Stephanie and just wants her to stay safe. It feels like Didi and his team know Stephanie is there and what's being said about her. Fortunately, Stephanie is not alone and has a team with her, but everyone must be vigilant. And finally, I want to know your opinion. Are you also following Stephanie's reports on the Didi case? Share your thoughts with me. Love you all and goodbye until the next video.